Welcome, BBCers, to episode number 271 of the Broken by Concept podcast, the number one League of Legends solo queue educational and motivational podcast. Curtis, Charlie, what solo queue topics are we going to be exploring today? Because we love solo queue here.
Well, we're actually going to cover, firstly, our bootcamp findings. So we did a bootcamp a while ago. We are doing another one very soon. So there should be hypothetically a link in the description about
tickets available. Yes, ready to go.
And I want to kind of share, what did we take away from our last bootcamp? Because we haven't mentioned really what did we take away from our last bootcamp.
No.
And you know, the great thing about these bootcamps is that, again, we really get to see the unadulterated,
Unfiltered.
raw
word.
solo queue
Good
experiences of our members and the general public, and it's incredibly fascinating, to say the least.
For just to give people an idea of how many games get played in our boot camp over the 2 days, 550 games was played in the boot camp across, we have like what, 24 coaches or whatever. So that's a lot of games.
And fast reviews as well, because every game is reviewed.
Every game gets reviewed.
That's a lot of reviews.
We see 550 WTL sees 550 games of solo queue raw unfiltered in 48 hours.
High intensity, a lot of sweat,
mental.
a lot of keyboards going through. Yeah, mouses.
Couple of 0-3 blocks weaved in there for some people, some 3-0 blocks for other people.
Yep.
Not the jungle section. We were killing it.
You were killing it?
Yeah, dude. We don't go 0-3 in the jungle section.
So I want to start with one of my first observations here. You know, we talk a lot about League's a game of details and specifics, but it really gave me an appreciation for the whole kind of mindset of League really is a game of inches. And, you know, when we do our normal reviews in the academies, you know, we try to cut the fat, right? We're trying not to look at every single second. We're skimming over things. We're trying to get to the root core, like the 20%ers, if you will, right?
Yep.
But in the bootcamp, we're sitting there watching your game from start to finish a lot of the time. We're sitting through your boring little lull states, all the moments. We're not skipping forward. We're seeing it as it is. And so the advantage of that, there are so many windows where I'm like, oh, if you were just like 2 seconds faster here, or you just saw this play a little bit quicker, or you were just a little bit more aware of what was happening in the river here, or you're just a little bit quicker on your reset or your deployment, that makes all the difference.
It's a different game.
And these inches add up across the game, as cliche as that sounds. And that's what makes the difference. Like, you look at like an Emerald versus a Diamond player, or a Diamond versus a Master Tier player, as, you know, again, as cliche as that sounds, it really is the difference. And it gave me an appreciation for how, you know, speed, you know, you talk a lot about speed, efficiency, tempo, getting back on the map, always thinking about what's next. That matters for a reason. It works for a reason. So that was like the first thing that became obviously apparent to me.
Yeah. You have this feeling when you're watching them, or if you do some live coaching, even like you telling them, they still can't get the feeling of how quick I want you to be a little bit faster. Come on. Like,
Yeah. And it can be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
And what I tried to do...
You know what's frustrating about it? Because they're so close.
They're close.
They're so close.
Because you say, or you know...
It's a different game.
I'll go in the review and we'll say, oh, yeah, if you just were a little bit more aware of that, and they will get it. They'll understand it, but there is just a lack of... So what it really is, it's a lack of anticipation. So if you think about it, right, a lot of these players, they're using their lull states. They are hyper aware of what's going on, but they don't know where to direct their attention. So again, when we all look at a mini map and we look at a game state, you'll know exactly where to prioritize your attention. It's like, okay, given this scenario, I got to look at this, but I don't really need to worry about that. But it kind of feels like sometimes they're like a blank slate. It's like they have to then figure out exactly. They have to go through everything and then cull shit and then figure out what to do. But we can look at an instance and know exactly what to focus on, and that is something that, you know, can't be it can't be shortcut. There's no shortcut for that.
Even if you have the knowledge, you need to build the muscle memory to be able to do it that quickly in the game. You have to see the pattern recognition, all that, right?
I was going to say, I think part of it is because you're not really intaking information about the play that's happening now. You're trying to intake information about the play that's happening next.
Yes.
And then the play that happens after that. Like, I felt this a lot in the live coaching specifically, where like cross-mapping was just something that people are very slow at. That's something where speed comes into play a lot. Like the speed that you concede something and go to the opposite side is insane. You can see it in the gold, like hundreds, thousands of gold difference between how fast you made that decision.
Because if you do it too slowly, they can simultaneously get the objective and defend you, controlling the other side of the map of like preventing you getting that tier 2 tower, or even as simple as not letting you take one jungle camp, or even not even pushing up or getting vision to get a pick. Or there's so many things that happen from a cross map play.
Something else I also noticed, kind of on the topic of speed, is something I would do in the live coaching, which I want to talk about a little bit live coaching, because my opinion on live coaching kind of changed a bit this bootcamp. I actually had a really good time.
But did you do it the bootcamp before that?
I did, but I think the way I did it this time was a bit different. And I'll talk about that a bit. But I wouldn't talk as much. I would just kind of nudge people, but I nudged people more this time. Last time I was kind of an observer and I would remind people in the lull states, and that's good. But I find specifically with like a bit higher ranked clients like Diamond and Emerald, they need to have intensity in their ear, and it makes them play fast, and then they know the feeling of playing fast. So something I did all the time, I'm just like, go cancel his base. Just like literally find his recall, and doing that is a massive game changer, stopping people's recalls. And like no one's in that, they're just not in that mindset. They're too focused on like the little CS or like where their jungler is, and just that whole like idea of it all comes back to tempo, right? I think the tempo is something that when you're live coaching, you can really instill on someone. So I think that's a really good medium for improving it.
I actually want to come back to live coaching in 1 second, but now that you mentioned that, there was one thing that I saw in the, talking about intensity and speed, is man advantage plays. As a mid laner, you always need to be thinking about when is it, is there an opportunity to start a fight where the enemy are out of position? So there's so many moments where like they actually do all the right things. They get the reset, they deploy in the right scenario, they're in exactly the right place. But I'm like, just go. Like, dude, that guy's on mid. Just go fight.
Yes,
I
had position. I had this exact same experience, genuinely. Like, people were just like in this face down in mid lane. They just 5v4. It's like, just fucking go. It doesn't even matter what the quality of your engage doesn't matter at that point. Just go. Make a fight happen, And I totally agree. People mess that up.
But yeah, on the live coaching, were you doing it from game 1 or did you kind of do it game 2? Like, how did you do it?
Always game 3. I would watch them play 2 games and I would review in between the games. And then game 3, I would just, do a regular live coaching. And honestly, the way it kind of conducted itself is in the laning phase, I would say very little. And then in the mid game
is where you talk.
That's where you need to talk, because that's when you don't want to pilot them, obviously, but you do want to give them just give them a nudge. I'm not giving them the info per se, but I'm kind of just like making them do it quickly. Like a fight will end. I'm saying, okay, cool. What's next? What do we? Dragons up. Blah blah blah.
Coaching though, that's what I think. Like we've been very vocal in this podcast about like kind of reinventing the wheel in terms of terminology, right?
Yeah.
And I think when people think of live coaching, they think of like a coach literally going through like the old school knee style, like do this to hit that minion, go for a trade now, and go for a kill, and it's like it's very like hands on, literally like telling you what to do.
Backseat gaming, basically.
Backseat gaming, right? That's what people think of live coaching, and it has a bit of a negative stigma in the league community for that reason. And I think that's very justified, right? But I think what we do is not really live coaching. It's more what you're doing is you're kind of adding an extra element on their mental stack, right?
Yes,
you're just giving them a helping hand specifically in terms of gathering information, asking high quality questions, and getting them to think in a particular way, because their mental stack is typically quite occupied by other things, right?
Exactly.
So like it's not really live coaching, is it?
No, it's like
why we do it.
It's like as a wave is dying, I'm in their ear saying, okay, Dragon's up in a minute 40, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
That is a beautiful piece of like, we can call it live coaching if you want, but that just shows the member how I'm thinking about the game. So they know how to think about the game next time. That's what, because you want to give them the feeling, not the answer.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think it's good at. Did you do live coaching?
I did a lot more hands-on. I think it might be... I'm listening to you guys talk.
Jungle again.
Jungle's different, dude.
I think jungle is just a different beast.
Because I want to give them a feeling, a sense of urgency about, like, I need you to be doing this, and I need you to feel what it's like. Like, I had a very specific example, was like... a Viego had a Orianna mid lane, and Orianna mid lane was bullying this Viego under tower 30 CS, and the Viego's default was to just go back to hitting the camps. And I said, get aggressive, get into the enemy jungle, go get us the Raptors, just physically put your presence there, because Orianna's pressuring, because junglers think, oh, if my lane is pushed up, there's no gank to be done, but there's not much. You don't actually need to gank that much as a jungler. Just be there physically when your lane is a pressuring, because the Orianna is going to either get ganked or going to go for some stupid dive or a solo kill, or Sylas is going to go in on, right? So I had this I can't say, oh, Oriana is pressuring this guy. Like, what do you think? What do you want to do about it? Like, I can't.
There's no time.
It's like these very like, but you guys are like lane phase, like sitting back, like you don't want to overwhelm their mental stack, but like,
well, I'm talking about things minutes in advance a lot of the time.
I need him doing that right now, and I want him to know what it feels like to do that, and a lot of success with that, like an insane amount of success, because I wanted to get them feel like what does high tempo, high speed, high pressure jungling look like?
Because that's what we're trying to do, right? When we do this quote unquote live coaching, it's less so about getting them results. It's not about the knowledge. It's the feeling of feel. It's like you just said, it's what would it feel like for them to direct their attention in the exact right position at the right time?
Yep.
What would that feel like? And then you're making that connection for them, because that connection may have taken 50 games, right? Otherwise, if they did it normally, but you're kind of streamlining that connection in a way.
Almost proving it as well, especially from the jungler's perspective, because junglers have a lot of narratives, just proving, hey, if you just kind of put your body here, just see what happens, feel it out. Like that's good for the purpose to it, like just feel it.
And in that scenario, he literally killed Jarvan, took his Raptors, and then Silas had to like base him his 2 waves.
Like, isn't that such a good experience for that guy?
It's completely
warps the view of the game, right?
Yeah. I default to do my camps here, and these are the opportunities that I'm missing.
Yeah. It also just shows you how winnable games are. I think as well. I think that's also a very powerful thing. I had one guy, I can't remember exactly what happened, but I jumped in late to the live coaching. Like I was live coaching someone else, and then we got into mid game with this other guy. I jumped in at like the 17-minute mark or something. We're losing, and we just played the most boring game of League of Legends ever, and we were heavy losing. We just ended up winning the game, right? Because we just made very conscious decisions, playing for economy, doing jungle camps, like really boring lane assignments, shoving and moving, all the normal mid game stuff AD carries do, and him just experiencing that. Of just coming back in a game by not doing dumb shit, not needing to flip the game, no desperation. Because when I'm talking to someone while they're playing, or live coaching, whatever you want to call it, it's urgent, not desperate. It's not like we need to fucking win this game somehow. It's like, this is happening on the screen, this is your response, do it fast, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good way of viewing it. You're never needing to do anything. You're kind of just trying to just be opportunistic.
But capitalizing.
Yes, capitalizing.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one, I saw an immense amount of lack of empathy for others' mistakes. So actually, by the time this video is out, my video on this may even be out, but I noticed moments where, let's say, a teammate had made a mistake. A jungler had gone for an invade that they didn't know, weren't able to make sense of. Maybe a fight broke out in somewhere that they didn't anticipate, and you could tell that they're visibly upset that this happened. And I asked them, I said, well, what did you think about this? And they would say things like, oh yeah, there's my jungler and going for another classic invade. Just some, just kind of cynical, sarcastic comment, jabbing at their jungler.
It's always the jungler's fault.
Something like that. And I said for a second, okay, let's do an exercise here. In the review, went into the review, said, okay, let's pretend we're the Amumu here. And let's actually, they're gold, right? They're gold. And I said, all right, let's go through this exercise. If you're a Mumu here, right, let's put yourself in their shoes. Their top laner had a bit of prio. You had a bit of prio temporarily. They had chunked out the enemy jungler. It kind of makes sense that the jungler's going to want to go for it.
It always makes sense.
There's some sort of merit here. But just the way it panned out, it was like the Mumu went a little bit too deep. The top laner got solo killed at the time. He couldn't maintain control. It was a very unfortunate scenario. And I'm like, what I was trying to do there is humanize the mistake of the enemy. And what I was trying to get across is that don't be in a rush to judge what your teammates are doing. Everyone's going to fuck up and make mistakes, and you don't have all the knowledge in that moment to realize what they're doing. So don't try to think about it. Just adapt.
Yes.
Just be like, okay, this is what's happening. I don't understand it. I can take a look at later on if need be. But it was a really great exercise to help them understand that this is how you're sabotaging your game. You're losing poise this way. And I saw it in real time, and it was so fascinating.
Yeah, it's so, that exercise you just went through with that player is incredibly important, critical. Because the moment you realize that all of your teammates, and as well as the enemy, they're humans, everything that makes sense. The reason why, for example, that Amumu is starting that dragon, because he has no camps up, so he feels like there's nothing else to do. I'm going to start the dragon. Everything actually makes sense.
Yes. There's no randomness.
And there's no randomness. That's the only reason that we as high elo players are able to consistently get on some account and we could just go and play and climb really high elo because there's nothing actually random is going on. You think it's random. You think that player's making a bad play, but if you actually break it down, it actually makes perfect sense. And then that allows you to adapt to your teammates much better because you understand why they're doing what they're doing because that's just their level of play. And it helps you capitalize on the enemy mistakes and get out of your elo because if your member is doing that, then the enemy jungler is also going to be doing that.
And the great thing about this exercise is I'm not there to help them. I don't expect them to know this shit, right? But it's the experiment. It's a thought exercise that, again, like you said, nothing is happening for some random reason. There is always a reason, but you just may not understand it, and you don't need to understand it fully. But have respect for the game and have respect for others. Like they're not idiots. They're not just AIs running into the jungle. Like they have some thought process.
There's a variable there.
I think that people literally will be mental blocked with that, Curtis. I generally think people won't respect. Like they'll say, yeah, that's all cool, but I could still see someone saying, I just don't understand why he will do that. Even though their logic, you could do it, but they will just refuse. Like I refuse to accept that player is capable of making that play. Right? There's a lot of players out there that have that mental block.
You know what's interesting as well?
Unfortunately,
on the topic of the coaching as well, tying it back to what you were saying, like reading your teammates and the enemy's behaviors and predicting what will happen. That's actually something that does come up in live coaching and just generally across the bootcamp. I found was like kind of just like we as players, we see a game state and we can see what will happen next later, right? It's like you see character portraits on the map being kind of close to each other. Oh, fight's probably going to happen there. You see a top laner shoving out a wave and then go in fog. Oh, that top lane is probably going to gank mid there. Like being able to read the behavior of all the other players in the game requires you to think that they are like human beings, right? So if you have this level of empathy towards your teammates and the enemies and everyone's making intentional decisions and everyone's doing things for a reason, it rewards you because you can predict their behavior. And you need to predict behavior. How can you possibly play the game if you can't predict
That's what
behavior?
Competition really is, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, we're competing against other humans that have behaviors and tendencies, and we need to capitalize on
trying to exploit them. Like imagine the simple play where you get to an area first and you camp a bush. Why do you do that? Because the enemies have to walk in. They will walk in. How do we know that? Because we've fucking done it ourselves and we watch our teammates do it. And everyone does it. Everyone does it because like.
But that's where the ego gets in the way, though.
They think they haven't done those mistakes.
Oh no! I see. The ego is the block, right? Because logically that makes perfect sense, right? But the ego is the thing that prevents them from having that adaptability and respect. Because again, they're up here. You know, the enemy are down here.
The apes.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting.
Exactly right.
I also think another way this manifests is where you can lose faith in your teammates throughout the game and you stop seeing good plays. I actually saw this in a coaching session today. It wasn't actually in the bootcamp, but I'll weave it in here, where someone's team was kind of engaging on bad timers, like poor numbers advantage fights, and he was doing a really good job at saying no. Because obviously we're talking a lot about like respecting your teammates and stuff, but sometimes you do have to say no. Like you can respect your teammate's decision and still not follow up on the engage. That's an very important skill. But what this guy was doing is he would see a fight happen and it would be an actual 5v5 and it would be actually one of the best fights he could get that game, but he still wasn't following up because he was like just scarred by past experiences, and he just lost the game because it was pure inaction. Just never took the fight. So yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, on that, one of my points here was that I feel like every player I work with in the boot camps, I get to see their very unique stage 4 issue. Like you've described there, stage 4 issues can be as small as I just don't think this guy is capable of winning the game, or like I don't think he's not doing anything. Like this guy's just like a troll, or he's not sentient or whatever, right? Then you've got other people that just have mental blocks with, drafts and, particular game states where there's a fed top laner. How do I deal with this? And like, they've got weird, I'm not going to use the word weird. They just got niche, unique, stage 4 issues, and they get exposed. They get rose to the surface, and like you question it, and well,
these are things holding them back. This is why they're in the rank they are.
And exactly right. And the bootcamp does a really good job of like bringing that to the forefront and just making it glaringly fucking obvious.
Yeah.
And now we can just address it because you can sweep that under the rug in a normal review for a long, for the most part. But in these boot camps, you can't hide it. It's just brought to the front.
I love it, dude. I love just the fact that for the boot camp is I just see, something because everyone's sharing their screen, right? You just see them click up, queue up. Here we go, draft and get into it. Just how cool is that? It's on my screen and we're in real time and you can't hide anything.
Even things such as like weird bans and like not swapping with people in the champs league. I had stuff like that as well. Like they would show the mid laner, they wouldn't swap. One where I would say, well, why are you forcing your support to blind pick? You know, I would even say give your support blind pick as a mid laner a lot of the time, especially if you have a champion that is blindable. Like just things like that. Like just little things. They do add up. Again, they do add up. Another one here I have a newfound respect for, again, we do talk a lot about the difficulty of solo queue, but I have a newfound respect for just games that can completely throw people off in the league journey. I had a game in one of the boot camps where if I was not there to help them explain why this was such a hard game and make sense of the game, they would have just completely imploded. They were really angry, they're frustrated. And if I'm not there, they're going to tilt spree now. They're going to they're going to go 0-3 off this block. Right, for sure. But because they couldn't make sense of this game. Why was this game so hard? And I could break it down. It's hard because of this. It was a bit niche, bit unique, hard game for your champion, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, wow, if I wasn't there, how easy it would have been for them to implode.
That's the decision to champ swap or go to the tilt spree.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really...
And there's not much we can do, and we can't be there for every block. Right? It's just
interesting.
It's just an observation.
Those games happen that
they just happen,
throw them off,
and we see them, right? And it's just like if we're not there, fuck, like they're in a really shit spot here, you know. And I guess that's where our communities come into play. They
daily chats,
or VOD questions or whatever. But like even then, it is hard, and I empathize with people, and that is why one of the big reasons why the solo queue journey is so hard, because you're gonna have weird fucking games that you're just gonna lose. You're gonna play well and lose.
Yep.
And it sucks.
But you don't want to go like the way Curtis is describing it here, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but your job isn't to try and like just find out how to win those games. It's simply just to make sense of what you could have done slightly differently, and then why it happened the way it did.
And because what happens if they don't move on from that, they're going to change their behavior. They're going to now...
well, if I'm playing at this level and I lost, then I have to play differently to win. But it's like, well, you actually play to your reference points quite well and all this.
Just lose. You just got to learn to lose that game.
Yes.
And it's hard to do.
Yes.
If I'm not there, I don't know how they would have known that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we say. Climbing in League of Legends is 50% improving and 50% avoiding self-sabotage.
Definitely.
50% of the equation.
For some people, it's even more, by the way.
You reckon?
Yeah, for some people, it's like 70% of climbing.
At specific plateaus, it can be 100%.
Yeah,
self-sabotage.
Right.
It can change at different stages. Yeah. On the topic of self-sabotage, one of the biggest things I saw from the bootcamp, and this is kind of a bit of a low-level point, but just like... The fact that I'm there watching them play made them do less dumb shit. I don't know if you guys kind of felt this as well, but just like playing with more intensity, making less blunders, just like kind of
be more engaged,
especially in the live coaching. Just less silly things occurring. If you look at their normal gameplay, I mean, you look at a game when I'm live coaching them. I'm not like there's no boosting going on. We're not like smurfing, making them play like a fucking drop a 20 bomb. It's just like not face checking this bush. Recalling, not overstaying, not contesting the midway when the enemy's laters are missing, just avoiding dumb shit, I think, is so underrated.
But on that, one of my people in the boot camp, I showed Rex. He literally was like a plateaued, like high goal player, right? And he was just, 50% win rate, like just bouncing up and down, right? Went into the boot camp, he had 3 blocks, and he went 8-1. And his first block he had with me was a 3-0 block, and he literally went 20-2, 15-1. Like it looked like he was smurfing, and I didn't even there was no live coaching. I didn't even live coach. That was just him
playing at his best.
Wasn't self-sabotaging, wasn't doing dumb shit, playing with intensity. It was all that stuff.
He's invested in those games.
I've been saying this for years. Most of the league player base could be higher ranked than they actually are. They just piss away games and just don't play high intensity.
Self-sabotage.
Generally, especially around the Platinum Emerald rank, people can be so much higher rank. With their current knowledge of the game, they don't need anything new. Just goddamn execute what you know more consistently.
He went from gold 1 to plat 3.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me.
Dude, it's the micro-sabotage. I'm going to start using that word, the micro-sabotage. The being on Discord with friends. The looking at your phone in between games. Random champion games.
I had I'm going to throw Noodle under the bus out.
Noodle Daddy.
She played a game, and we did the first review, and then I caught her. She's just listening to music. And I'm like, what? And at the second game, I said, turn that fucking music off.
Good.
And then she turned the music off. She had way better performance.
Thank
Just
God.
stop deluding yourself to play with music.
It's always,
I'm
music,
sick of
it's always
it.
music with lyrics as well, like pop music.
Yeah, it was like pop music. Sounds like it's
Yeah.
like Arctic Monkeys or some shit, or Tame Impala or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah, that's not bad taste there.
it's like
Let's wake up.
wake
guys.
up.
Let's
We're
wake
not
up,
at a
man.
concert here. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the micro sabotage, everything. There's so many things you can do to like lower your performance by 1%, and people stack them. They fill their inventory with all these little negative 1%ers, and then they just play at like a plateaued level forever. It's crazy.
Okay, so I want to. Is there any other things in the bootcamp before we move on?
No. Tickets in description below. There's a bunch of information of what the bootcamp actually is. We're not going to explain it here. Just have a read.
All right, so I'm going to play a clip here. You guys didn't even watch it. This is my laptop. You're not even going to see.
Oh,
this
God.
is just. So have you
audio?
guys? Do you guys know Day 9?
Day 9, yeah. The streamer.
Yeah, he was a streamer. He was a StarCraft player. I think he does a lot of Magic the Gathering content now. And AJ sent me this clip from a while ago. AJ used to play a lot of StarCraft. AJ coached in the Midland Academy. And this was a clip that really he heard a while ago that really encapsulated a really sound piece of advice. So I'm going to play this out. Charles, I'm going to have to send this to you.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. This is not planned.
This is not planned. I kind of ganked you here.
There we go.
I'm not going to pause it. I'm just going to play it out. Ready?
Thank God.
I was once upon a time, or I should say, when I was doing those dailies, I would get asked all the time about, well, Sean, what if your opponent had thing X? For instance, what if in this game you say this is a good timing attack because your opponent will be generally vulnerable. He'll only have this mixture of units, but what if my opponent built extra tanks? What if, instead of being defensive, my opponent was attacking early on? What if, and all these other what if scenarios. And there's kind of a weirdness where it was hard for me at first to describe what the answer was. Because what I kept saying was things like, they shouldn't be able to do that. But then I did a series where I focused on new players, where it was just the lowest leagues, like the newest players, the lowest rated, looking at lots and lots and lots of their replays, and everything is much sloppier, much more unrefined, and their opponents would do these weird things like build extra tanks, send in early attacks, or whatever. And the most valuable advice I can give in that sort of situation, that I think the more I ruminate on it applies really to all strategy games, which is, what if my opponent is doing some weird, unusual thing? The number one technique, the number one strategy in this situation is just to go fucking kill him. Just go fucking kill him. You know why things are called standard? Do you know why? Because when you tend to do non-standard things, you just die. You know how dying happens? Someone just goes up and fucking kills you. And this turned out to be just like this light bulb in communication, where it's like, if you're ever confused as to what your opponent's doing, just go fucking kill them. Just attack. If you're doing some of the standard stuff, it has become a standard because you generally have a lot of impact. You generally have a lot of power for generally a relatively low cost or in a very efficient cost setup. And if your opponent is doing something that isn't that, chances are it's inefficient. Chances are it's weak. Chances are it's vulnerable. The game won't tell you. You gotta tell yourself. I'm gonna go fucking kill this guy. And when I look at Magic the Gathering, in this last game that we just played, we were against someone doing a Dragon's Approach list, which is like, you shoot your opponent in the face, and then after some time passes, you can maybe summon free dragons from your deck and deal tons of bonus damage and whatever. What is the right sideboarding strategy there? And I tried to come up with a sideboarding strategy that was proactive. Proactive is what we'd say as a commentator, but really what we mean is, this will let me go fucking kill the guy. And I think that this is a universally important concept in a strategy game. Don't get caught up in this nonsense of like, the complicated rock, paper, scissors that is before me. If he's building pikemen and I'm building cavalry, but then I try to time my counter to this and to that, and you start to like get into this mind gaming nonsense. First, just go, can I kill the man?
Okay, so that's the basis. So
That's so good.
to elaborate on this a little bit, actually, before I talk about, what's your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts is that what that looks like as a jungler is not kill them, like, because it's like a lot of the time actually you might be getting killed or getting invaded or something like that. It's the fact that that play was inefficient, or there's weaknesses, clear weaknesses in that. You need to find those vulnerabilities, because that's why, League is. High percentage, consistent things over enough period of time. Like these little cheese things and all that sort of stuff that people get into. It's like there's very clear weaknesses in this.
So I want to talk about jungle for a second, right? The common example I would say is, when you get people invade and take your buff, just let them take it and just keep clearing your camps.
And then your camps will be... The second rotation of camps, you actually be even or ahead of the opponent because all their camps are still up level 1 and they've actually even sometimes helped you.
They have helped you. They level up your camps.
They level up your camps, right? So there's like so many situations as well where they try and let's say like a Jarvan or whatever, like level 2. I think I had a game yesterday where a Jarvan level 2 ganked bot, right? Level 2 ganks are sort of like out of the meta or whatever. And and I was full clear on top to bot. And what a lot of people would do in my situation is they would go to his red buff. But I actually just continued going bot, didn't go to the obvious move that he did. And then I think I had also my bot lane was a very heavy winning lane. And I just went bot, played for that win condition. Even though my bot lane died, I still won the game through bot.
Yeah.
Because that's super inefficient because he's stuck going to his top side or trying to find me or whatever, recalling. So there's such clear inefficiencies in that. It is objectively a bad play.
And the inefficiencies are in the future. Like that guy level 2 ganking.
He killed bot.
The punish is often full clear into get maybe their Raptors on the next respawn or get their first Gromp.
Or in that situation, he's stuck topside and I'm ganking his bot lane when I'm level 4.
And that's a more valuable gank because they die later when the wave's pushing out.
That's right.
Miss minions as well.
Exactly right.
I mean, what I thought when he said this thing about killing people is like just kind of, if the enemy's doing weird shit, just fucking ignore it and stick to your champ reference points. Immediately. Just stick to your reference points, get strong, and then fight on your spikes. I think that's when he says just go kill someone, it doesn't mean now. It means when you're strong. So if I'm playing like Kai'Sa and then the enemy have like some sort of like a mage or something, let's get to Q upgrade. Let's get to a Q upgrade. If I'm playing Jinx and I'm playing against some cheesy stuff, it's like, okay, slow things down, just get to my item spikes and win and kill them later. So I think in League of Legends, there's a bit of a time delay in the killing.
Yeah, because I guess because he's talking in the context, I think, of more like traditional strategy games, and League is a strategy game kind of, but as we know, it's more of a fighting game. Yeah, I would say I liken it to that. It's like people can do all these sophisticated, cheesy things, right? But at the end of the day, if you bring it back to the basics of the fundamental, am I getting good resets? Am I playing to my champ's identity? Am I aware of my win conditions? Am I aware of the map state? Like a lot of the time, that's going to trump, even if you die. Like even if they get a kill, like they cheese you in lane or you die to some weird gank.
There are some useless kills. Kills that you can disregard. Literally just like get off my screen, get back to lane and start farming again,
Or in general, what will happen, even if they get kills, their champion won't function properly in the mid game. Right? Because there is a reason those champions aren't meta, right? That's what if you're versing something that's not meta, something quite niche, then like, let's say for example, someone counterpicks you with like, I don't know, let's say someone's like playing, Heimerdinger top with Ignite.
Yeah.
And they dominate you in the lane phase. Well, that guy's not going to have any...
How's he going to help you get the dragons later
How's he going to play the mid game? Yeah, it's very hard. I mean, not to say he can't if he's really, really, really good at Heimerdinger, but there's a lot of Heimerdinger top players that would struggle to translate leads.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of Heimerdinger players who struggle to translate leads. It's hard to translate leads. So there's a lot of examples of that. So I just... And also the other thing I like about this is because if you're ever unsure as well about what something does, you need to just... I like what he says, the game won't tell you.
You have to tell yourself.
You have to do it yourself and feel it. Like a lot of people, they start to think about all these possibilities, but like, your only way to find out if something can work or not is just by doing it yourself. Like you need a limit test and not be afraid to look like an idiot. And then, because if you piss fart around and you're scared of interacting with someone, you're never going to learn. The feedback cycle doesn't exist. So yeah, I just thought that was like just a really funny kind of video, an interesting philosophy, and I think it does truly apply to basically every game.
What he started with and sort of what it ended up with, I think is also another point there, that whole question that people have is like, what if they do this or what if they do this? And like they create these crazy unrealistic scenarios. It's like the players in this game in your skill level are not going to do that consistent. Like, people, because sometimes there is a thing that stops. It's like, well, yeah, they could do all that and there is nothing for you to do, but that's not the reality of a League of Legends game, right?
Yeah.
Like people try and like...
Dude, it's the hypotheticals.
It's the hypotheticals. They get
so lost
in the sauce, man. Yes. It's like, dude, I haven't climbed solo queue like that. No one has got the challenger like playing against people playing optimally can't... Like, the what if thing in League would have to be like their specifically only thinking about you and preventing everything that you want to do.
Yeah.
But there's 4 other people on your team and 4 people on the other team. Like, that's not how League works.
No,
there's always push and pull levers in League of Legends games. Like, people can't just sit there and just shut down one. Like, they could. Like, so let's say, for example, Lena's getting camped by a jungler. If you're getting camped, your team is winning somewhere else. It's just a reality.
It has to be happening.
It has to be happening.
It's a zero-sum game.
Theoretically, a jungler could literally skip all their camps. I mean, not even, because you have no levels. They could just completely just camp your lane and shut you down. Not that you get a single minion for the first 5 minutes.
I mean, the player that does this on our server. He doesn't play at the moment, but he used to. The Elise guy. Remember the Elise guy who would just take like one camp and then just like tower dive bot with like Ears Elise, and like it doesn't win. Like,
get to a point and it doesn't work.
Exactly.
He would like cap out
Master Tier. Like, it just doesn't work.
The other thing about this as well is when you're versing, that whole like mindset of like, if they do this, okay, what happens if I get counted and I have 2 losing sides?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, well, typically then means you haven't done your job in your lane. You've either let them roam, or maybe that's a problem you just can't solve.
I have a different answer to that. Just lose.
Just lose.
Just fucking lose. Just get out of the game. Don't overthink it. Stop trying to problem solve.
Yeah. Because if that's happening to you, guess what's also happening to your mid lane opponent? His 3rd game into this block.
That game doesn't define your climb. Stop thinking like every game is the most important.
It's like everyone just wants a 100% win rate or 80% win rate.
No, they want to win. They want to have the chance to win every game. They want to know how to win every game.
Because it feels so
empowering.
No, what's the opposite of that? Like, the fact that it's out of people just hate things that are out of their control, right? And because that's where the victim mentality comes into play.
All right, we'll move on. There was a Reddit post here we're going to be talking about. It was titled "Proof You Can Still Climb. I Hit Master at 36 after 15 years of League."
I love hearing these stories. Here we go.
So, okay, so basically, what motivated him to make this post is that someone else who's grinding ranked, hopefully it shows them that it's still possible to hit your goals even after many, many years, if you really put your mind to it. So backstory here, TLDR, he's been playing for 15 years. He was around 20 to 21. Now he's 36, married, still playing the game. He's reached Diamond every season except a few other seasons. He started out as a mid laner. Now he's a support main. And the reason he swapped is because as he got older, he knew he couldn't dedicate as much time to the game. So support allowed him to keep a wider champion pool and enjoy the game without one-tricking. So he lent into what he enjoyed about the game, which I absolutely love.
And his situation, he adapted to his situation a bit.
Exactly right. So he said, "This year, a big life event made me decide this would probably be my last serious rank season, at least for now. So he set one clear goal. I wanted to finally reach Master Tier. So he said there were 2 rules he set for himself. No duo, no one-tricking. So this was his climbing and picking strategy. Because of his schedule and free time, he usually had gaps of 3 to 4 days between games. Rarely could he play on consecutive days, except weekends, where he had sometimes had the ability to full grind the whole day. So to stay consistent, he followed the 3-block sessions recommended by the Broken by Concept podcast.
3 blocks.
And I would obviously do more than 1 3-block session per day if I had the time, especially on a weekend. As a support, my philosophy was simple. Flexibility first. I wanted to pick after my AD carry whenever possible so I could either match their champ or counter the enemy bot lane. Examples, Lulu with Kog'Zeri, Nami with Lucian, Nautilus with Kai'Sa. I believe that while mechanics are important in support, they aren't as crucial as in other roles. Positioning, vision, macro, and synergy with AD carry matter more, so I believe flexibility gave me an edge. This mindset shaped my climb, which I split into 3 different phases. Phase 1, variety support. I started this season playing a huge variety of supports from enchanters to engage to playmakers. My favorite supports were PYKE and Rakan, but I'd always pick based on my AD carry, using Rakan as a blind pick that didn't work very well. This got me to low diamond as usual, but I stagnated there. My win rate was only slightly above 50, and while I was playing some great games, I was pretty inconsistent. Sometimes my picks didn't matter as much because the AD carry just wasn't good enough to play through. Phase 2. This is again sequentially, right? Phase 2, trimmed pool. To push further, I cut my champion pool down to 5 champions. PYKE, which was my main blind pick, then picked with strong laners like Jhin and Draven, then Milio, Nami as my enchanters, and then Leona, Nautilus as engage. This helped me master my champions better, and I climbed all the way to Diamond 1 86 LP, one single away one single win away from Master, but there's a caveat for this great improvement, which was that I was able to play 4 days in a row, 2 of them being the weekend, so I was able to focus for a full day on both. Of course, I lost a promotion game to Master. Of course, otherwise there wouldn't be a Phase 3, but then because of my irregular schedule, I couldn't play for almost a week, came back cold, went back to D3. So Phase 3, the one-trick switch. At that point, I realized my schedule was the biggest enemy. Playing with gaps every 3 to 4 days meant that I was never really fully warmed up, I couldn't get in the zone, and I wouldn't have impact that I wanted to be able to fully reliably carry. I felt like this elo was very similar to High Emerald and Low Diamond. You have a lot of smurfs, most of the players are one-tricks, and there are a lot of other players that have no business being there, probably either being boosted or being a passenger or getting lucky win streaks. So at this point, I decided to break one of my original rules. I started one-tricking. I chose Nami. At the time, she was my highest win rate champion, 70% plus, a great all-round blind pick, and she allowed me to both play aggressively in lane while being able to roam effectively and make plays with my bubble and ulti, and it worked. In just 4 days, I went from Diamond 3 to Master with a 9-game win streak in the middle, getting MVP ace in most matches. One-tricking was definitely the game changer. By removing champ select stress and stop spreading my time across too many champs, I was able to refine my Nami play to a whole nother level of comfort that I thought I actually already had because I considered myself, my most effective champion, and this made me reach my goal. So the lessons and takeaways. So that is the story and the thought process behind the season's journey. But if I could summarize a climb strategy in a few key points, I would split it between actually learning the game and trying to climb. If you're learning the game, focus on growth mindset, play to improve, have impact in every game while trying to minimize losses because of you. Do not play just to win. You will end up being a passenger on most of your wins. Try champ pool cycling. Commit 50 games to 2 to 3 champions, then rotate one out for a new one. And if you're playing to climb, volume matters. A handful of games per season won't move you forward, and one-tricking works. It's insanely powerful if your goal is purely climbing, but it does limit the perspective of your game. I'd only recommend it if you're already experienced or you just want rank results. Final shout out and thanks. Big thanks to the Broken by Concept podcast. Their vision, mindset of the game, and structured approach to improvement help me a lot. Feel free to roast or discuss this on the podcast. Wouldn't mind my 5 minutes of fame, which you are getting. Thanks to everyone. And so, yeah, that's kind of the post.
In the future, everyone will get their 15 minutes of fame. It's a quote from something. Andy Warhol, I think. I want to say. Maybe look that up.
I can't help you there.
That's all right. You know what's really good? I was so scared for this email. Where you started with phase 1 and 2, I'm like, holy moly, this guy's playing 100 champs. Oh my God, he's gone down to 5. Is he going to get a master with 5? And then he gets master with 1. I'm like, yes, get in, son. Like, I'm so happy. I was really scared he was going to just counterpick every draft and
it goes back to, again, we've been saying this for years.
There are many ways to skin a cat, but I am happy that he's picked the way that we like to skin the cat,
Well, what I like about this is that he went about his journey with intention.
That's right. That's the key.
He had a rule where
he was reflecting a lot as well, which I like.
But he changed. He was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this out, see if it works. It didn't work. Okay, now what? Okay, I need to change this. I'm going to change. He altered it along the way. He didn't just stick rigidly. He changed his process to suit him, right? Recognizing and actually adapting to his situation.
Very aware.
And we talk a lot about, adapting your process to suit your situation. And he knew that he wanted to play a role that maybe gave him a little bit more fun, which was great.
Yep.
He also, had an initial hypothesis, was willing to drop the ego and change, and just basically figured out what gave him results. You know what I mean? I love as well. He just picked the champion that he was winning the most with. That's
awesome.
How simple is that? But it's so goddamn effective.
Yeah, because you have so many narratives around that. It's like, Nami is also a champion that can it's like an eagle champ, or it's like a support or whatever.
How do I carry his Nami?
How do I carry Nami or whatever it is? And then my view of the game is rigid, or I'm too one tricking's bad or whatever it is. I don't feel good being a one trick or whatever. It's like, you're not a one trick if you've played all those you can go hard on a champion.
Yes, temporarily one tricking a champion.
Yes.
That's how everyone gets LP.
Yes,
that's literally how everyone gets LP.
Because people don't think of OTPing in time spans.
No.
They just think of you're an OTP or you're not. You can temporarily, and this is why champ pool cycling is so goddamn OP, like he said, because you get that feeling of just double downing on champion mastery, taking your gameplay to the next level. And even he said he got tricked by it, right? He didn't even know that there was another level to his Nami. And then until he did it, he's like, fuck, I can do all this shit I didn't even know existed. And that's the eye-opening moment, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
I also think that something that shines through to me through that post is, I mean, this is super underrated. He just wanted to climb.
Yeah.
And he did this. He literally did the steps that he thought were the most optimal steps to climb. There's no piss farting around or getting self-sabotaging or weird stuff going on. He's like very objective. And maybe this comes with time. He seems like a very mature player.
Yeah, he's 36, yeah.
Like I've been saying in the daily chats in the academy recently, just like, I watch some people play and I look at your schedule and I look at your match history. It's like, mate, you don't really want it. You know, this guy wanted it. He was willing to bloody limit test and learn and find out a process and actually put the reps in. And this is it shows. It made sense why he got the result because he actively tried to do it. Where I think a lot of people just don't actually put their heart and soul into getting the result.
As basic as that sounds.
It's a bit of a lame thing to say, but it is true.
You want to do it, just do it.
I know, but people don't. They want to do it. They want to have it their way. You
Well,
know?
also, I think that people maybe try it for short periods of time and then just give up. Like this guy could have given up after phase 1 or, phase 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
But, finding your process, it's just messy. I always say that the ranked climb journey is like a plane crash. It's just a disaster, man. It's like R18 plus.
Yeah, a lot of people could be in his exact position, and there are hundreds of ways to self-sabotage that. You could even get to the one-tricking element, but try and one-trick PYKE or something, and never hit Master Tier because of just the complexity of that champion. Like, Cupcake always talks about, like, PYKE is just one of the hardest supports to play. It's just like, he probably wouldn't have got the result that quickly, So you have to make concessions. You can't have your cake and eat it. You have to, like, just fucking drop whatever you're doing and just climb. Sacrifice.
Yeah. There was one little thing that I wanted to, before we move on to the school post of the week, there was this other Reddit thread. I don't want to read it. Basically, the TLDR was that the title was like, most people don't understand the skill differences in high ranks. And we have kind of slightly mentioned this in other episodes, but there was like this comment here that I want to read, and it said, the thing that really bothers me about Reddit critics is that they genuinely have no idea how good these people at the top actually are. And they get their rocks off just criticizing them. And this guy said, yeah, like I was trash, blah, 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 blah. But he said he used to play COD. And so what he was like a semi-pro COD player. So what he could do to the rank millionth guy, the guy ranked 100 could do to him. And then what he could do to me, the rank 75 could do to him. And it's crazy. The tiniest of details make all the differences. And that's what puts these guys above the rest. Frankly, the skill gap between the guy who's rank 1 and me at 300 was probably bigger than the skill gap between me and the guy at 10 million. Pro players are on another level that 99% of people just can't comprehend. And that's the thing that is, it really is true. Like when you look at the rank ladder, it's not just like, that person at 100 LP is equally, say between 100 to 200 LP is the same as 200 to 300. It gets
exponential.
It's exponential.
It compounds, yeah.
And like that difference between like that rank, 50 challenger player versus someone in like the bottom of master is astronomical. Like it is unbelievably big. And once you start to give that appreciation to the rank system, it's kind of, again, it's very freeing in a way because like, wow, there are limits to this game. There are sides to this game that we can't even begin to comprehend. And it's kind of, I just think an important perspective to have about the game.
I can talk about it anecdotally because, like, I've been playing 80 carry it's almost coming up on a year now, and I've been floating around generally like 200 LP to like 350 LP master for like the past like month or two, and I've because our server is small, I verse all the players, right? I verse the rank 1 player, I verse all the players in challenges as well every so often. I verse Praedyth, right? I verse Praedyth a lot, like maybe like 10 to 20 games in the past like maybe 2 or 3 months.
And Praedyth's what, top 5?
Praedyth is currently ranked 3, I think.
And he's one of our coaches
He's one of the coaches. He's 1 KLP. He's the highest ranked 80 carry on our server, right? The best 80 carry on the server.
And he was a former pro player.
Pro player, played for my team. And when I verse him, I can lane against him really well, and I'll even kill him in lane, and it can go well and good stuff. I can keep my farm. In the mid game, it can look like I'm doing similar things, but every single time he comes out on top. Like, I've beaten him a few times just because of the nature of ranks, right? But every single time, he's just doing something differently. Whether it be being a little bit faster on a rotation, playing a fight a little bit better, dodging some spells that I wouldn't dodge, taking a snap decision. Like, and that's the difference. Like,
so what does that feel like, by the way, in the game? Like, because that's going to happen.
I mean, I understand it, so it's a bit different for me.
Yeah.
I coach him and I coach other people, but I can see.
But I want to interject here because this is exactly what the top comment on the post said. This guy said, when I try hard, this guy said he can barely hit challenger. A few times he went up against Isles, also a fellow OS player, who's top 10 in NA. He was a bit better than me, but what really astounded me was he was always consistently 5 seconds earlier to every single objective.
We go. That's exactly
he said
the
it was
experience,
infuriating. And the few times I got to the objective before him, he'd already secured a kill somewhere else and pressured us off the objective.
Yep.
They're always one step ahead. And that
goes back to your initial about the bootcamp
speed.
The games. What'd you say? Game of detail. What would you say?
Game of inches.
Game of inches.
Yeah.
There's just levels to the game. There's so many levels to the game. Like you could feel like you're doing everything right, and then like there's people doing it better just by fractions. And
imagine that. I mean, I reckon he's actually even. 5 seconds is a long time. I reckon he's like 1 or 2 seconds quicker.
Yeah,
it would feel like 5 seconds in the game. But think about that. The game is completely different if you're 1 second earlier. Yep. You talk about, you look at like a F1 and racing, right? And, you could say the 18th place is shit, but they're actually just seconds or milliseconds off. Like, that's the difference.
Like, they're all bloody good drivers.
They're all really good. It's like everyone just throws off, the 19, 20. But they're
all seconds.
They're close. Like when they do qualifying, right? It's not that far
and
away.
they're there because they stomped Formula 3.
That's right.
they
exactly
just obliterated everyone
Yeah.
in F2 and F3. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just perspective.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've just felt it firsthand because we get that luxury on OSIS. I get to verse everyone on the ladder, and I feel it 100%.
All right, so we'll move on to the school post of the week now. So for the school post of the week, we have here from Theodore, difference in climbing process in Diamond and Emerald. I've been stuck in Emerald for over a year. A few weeks ago, I finally reached and stayed in D4, all thanks to the 3-block process. My question is this: getting from Emerald to Diamond requires fixing all the details, solidifying your gameplay. But getting from D4 to D2, D1 feels like a whole different beast. How are you meant to tackle that problem? Do you keep trying to smooth out inaccuracies and hope for the best, or do you need to do other kinds of research? So I just want to get your guys' take. When you're thinking about the whole Emerald to Diamond climb or Diamond to Master Tier, are there any noticeable differences? Any comments, thoughts?
My first thing is I would do some inner reflection. Are you self-sabotaging? Number one. Because I genuinely think a lot of Emerald players have the capability to get to Diamond. I see so many just, low intensity stuff like that, just like we talked about earlier in the podcast. That's the first thing I would look at.
So we're talking about Diamond to Master or Emerald to Diamond?
Yeah, is there a difference between getting from when you're going from Emerald to Diamond and Diamond to Master?
Process. He said
process-wise.
Process-wise. Oh, interesting. So yeah, I think I agree with Nathan that like a high Emerald and like a mid to low Diamond player are very similar in the sense of ability with the champion. I think this is the elo where you need to start thinking about the map a lot more. I don't know
your teammates
and your team. Like I often talk with these players about information gathering and transition period usage. I think those are the two biggest things when it comes to Emerald Diamond. Is like finding more opportunities to get involved in the game, because these players, they know generally how to win laning phase on their champions. Sometimes they know how to get mid push in the game. They really struggle with putting the pieces together. And I think that's a lot of that journey from like Emerald 2 to like high Diamond. Like it's just bridging the gap. I don't know if I would call it smoothing the edges. It is adding new concepts, like swapping mid more proactively, maybe attending more fights, like just being more aware. But where does that stem from? It usually stems from info gathering. So in terms of a process, a lot of actually in-game learning objectives, actually for me, like lull state usage in the game and really trying to prime your mental stack more, I would say is helpful. From AD carry.
Yeah, no, I think definitely gathering more information, like you said before, understanding your teammates and what your teammates are doing, adaptability. I've got here just increasing your attention to detail and altering the levels of sensitivity to what is okay versus what is not okay. Like for example, if you're late to a play and your team trades 2 for 2, your mindset can't be, oh, it was a 2 for 2 for that. That's fine. It should be, what was there a way that I could have got here earlier?
Yeah.
Why was I late? Or you rock up to a dragon fight, lose the fight, but you sneak the dragon. Your mindset shouldn't be, yippee, we got the dragon, so it's okay. It should be, well, should we have even contested this dragon in the first place? Why am I here? What the hell am I doing here? Standards,
yes.
exactly right. Taking max accountability, and I've even got here, improving efficiency in side lane, improving adaptability to fights, and learning to communicate intent. I talk a lot about communication nowadays. It just goes a long way. I think it's a big fish, right? If you can communicate your intent better, goes a long way. But just fundamentally, process-wise, you're doing 3 blocks, you're reviewing. You may want to potentially dabble in watching some high-low VODs if you want to. But fundamentally, it's the same thing, right? For the most part.
Yeah, I think something that I heard recently, this is actually from Perry, who makes jungle videos on YouTube. He said that climbing, the higher up you go, it's like you're getting the next degree. And he said like going from like, Grandmaster to Challenger is like getting a PhD in your champion specifically. You have to get a PhD in your champion, right? So when you got Challenger, you got a PhD in Rek'Sai. Congratulations. That's what you had to do that, right? So like going from like the Emerald to Diamond, you like getting your bachelor's degree in your champion. So you can never lose the champion mastering.
Yeah.
Like there's levels to that.
There's so many levels.
There's levels to it.
All right, Nathan, I'm going to handball it to you.
Mailbag time. Away we go. Welcome back for Nathan's Mailbag. Jingle, jingle, jingle song. Alrighty then. Our first question here comes from Stocho. The title of this email is Secondary Role Struggles. Hello, Nathan, Curtis, and Charlie. I've been listening to the podcast regularly for more than a year now. And I want to start this email by saying thank you for the amazing work you're doing for the League of Legends community. While I personally still don't have a perfectly healthy relationship with the game, I feel like it's at least slowly improving, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Anyway, I've been playing the game since mid-season 2, but I only got back to playing more regular. Now I can't pronounce it. You guys mean me.
Yeah, good. That's why you can't pronounce it. Yeah,
jabbed.
that's why.
So started playing a lot more last season after playing on and off about 5 to 6 years before that. Back in the day, I used to play support all the time because my best friend played ADC. But nowadays, he doesn't play anymore, and I found more enjoyment playing other roles, specifically mid lane. Also,
why doesn't he get a click?
Yeah, where's my click? Gonna click myself here.
This email has no... We're interrupting this email. This email has no flow
at
all.
Do you know why? Because we've introduced ADCs to the podcast. It was always mid and jungle.
I see.
There's always a reason. Nothing happens. Nothing's random. Remember, Charles?
Yeah. Everything makes sense. Just my view of reality.
Exactly right.
So, playing mid lane. He's enjoying mid lane more. Also, I finally started playing ranked more again regularly.
Holy shit. This is borderline unusable footage. This is bad.
This season, instead of playing,
it's like the guy behind the camera. It's like, just, it's like, what's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? It's like, just keep going.
Oh yeah, the director, keep it going.
Yeah,
keep the cameras going. Where are we up to? So, I finally started playing ranked more this season instead of just playing my placements and only playing maybe a couple of games after that. I recently hit my peak rank of gold form, playing mostly Echo, mid, and jungle, but we'll go to that later. And Galio, whenever my Echo gets banned or picked, and I'm planning on learning other assassins after improving enough at the game, since the playstyle feels very fun and natural to me. Here's where my problem begins. I know that, especially as a mid laner, I'm not always going to get my role. Since I don't want to dodge every second game I queue up for, I've been trying to figure out what secondary role I want to learn. But I'm not going to lie, it's been an audacious process so far. I've played various different champions and roles to see what I would enjoy the most and find the most comfortable, but nothing seems to stick. Lately, I've been queuing up with jungle as my secondary role, which seemed natural to me since I love playing Echo and he's viable in the jungle also. But I'm not going to lie, I really struggle. I always feel like I'm making the wrong decisions in terms of pathing, where and when to gank, what objectives to contest, and not to mention that my jungle clear is always way too slow that I feel like I don't have as much agency as I know I should. I know I can practice my clear in the practice tool, but I find that very tedious, and knowing that I can fuck it up very easily in a real game feels very overwhelming.
Doesn't want to practice it.
With all that said, I've come to the conclusion that I don't really want to play jungle as natural as it should be to me as an Echo main. I've also considered learning top or ADC, and I enjoyed playing bruisers and marksman quite a lot, but when I play top, I get tilted more than usual when I lose my lane, especially if I die in a close 1v1 fight, and when I play bot, I get very frustrated at how dependent you are on your support. Or when my mid laner doesn't want to go to the side lane and steals my CS. Here comes a narrative. So that I'm forced...
Sounds like a review session.
It does. So that I'm forced to go to side, and when it's generally unsafe for me as an ADC to do so, or when a single misstep is enough for me to die and lose the game. And so I asked, what secondary role should I pick up at the end of the day? How many and which champion should I learn for my secondary role? What can I do to get over my apparent mental hurdles with whatever secondary role I end up sticking with?
Or arduous.
Arduous.
You said audacious.
Audacious. Arduous, my bad. So we've got all the narratives.
Crazy email.
It's a roller coaster of an email.
A roller coaster.
Like, this roll is bad because of this reason. Wait, but I've tried this roll, but then that roll because bad because of that reason. Then I tried this roll, but it was bad because of that reason.
We're not even talking about his main role. We're only talking about his secondary role.
What are we talking about here?
It doesn't even matter, right? You don't need to love your secondary role.
No.
So,
first things first, this whole narrative that people have, it's like, I'm going to play my champion in that other role. It's not, if anything, it makes you worse, I feel like, at your champion. Just play a whole different champion in that role. I hate that. I actually worked with a Zed player, by the way, literally today. And the review was, like, he's completely thrown out all of Zed's reference points because he's playing Zed as a jungler instead of a mid laner. And I said, you know the way you win this game? You play Zed as a mid laner.
That's so interesting because I actually disagree.
You disagree?
I think it's your role. I think people going from lane to jungle, it might be bad, but I think people going from jungle to lane, maybe it does work. Because like I think, what about you, Coz? You played Neferi, didn't you? And you found a bit of success. But wasn't it
still a different feel and game? You get different spikes. You're different strong.
Depends what build you go. I think Zed should theoretically play the same as mid if you go the same setup, right? Because you can go conk Zed mid, right? Which is more of like a slower, bruiser fighter style that scales really well into mid game, right? Which is all about just farming and getting to your key spikes, which is exactly, I'm assuming, what Zed jungle's about, right? Zed jungle's not about getting shit done early and building lethality. You go more fighter and you farm like crazy, right? And get to 2-3 items and pop off, right? That's the exact same as Zed mid if you go the right iteration. But if you go ignite Electro with like lethality, then it's completely different. But my point is that
what I'm trying to say there, Charles, is that people go in thinking they go play Echo mid. Oh, it's going to be easy because I already know how to play Echo.
Okay,
it's like a mindset shift.
No, it can work, but there's a lot of dangers. This is where I just think that
you can bring baggage, right?
There can be a lot of mental baggage, and sometimes yes, the reference points can be different. That can actually happen across roles. So I don't think Neferi is a good example because Neferi mid and Neferi jungle are actually basically the same. But there are certain champions that have differing reference points. But I think it's more the mentality because, okay, so there are some people that could play, for example, Hui mid and Hui bot and have a lot of success because they have the champ mastery. They know how to fight. They know how to pump out damage. Super simple. There are some people that try to literally play exactly like that other role, and then they create mental blocks, and they simultaneously don't get results in their secondary role and do damage to their main role.
That's right.
That can happen as well.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I see more often than not.
More often than not, it actually is better to completely just start fresh, accept that this is a different role, learn a genuine champion in that secondary role, and take the time to learn.
Yeah, because Echo also is weak in the jungle. If you're new to jungle, like you get, the slow clear and stuff.
Even just a shit champ to learn the role on.
Yeah,
and also,
really bad shit.
And also
champ,
jungle secondary is a shit
Yeah,
role.
jungle secondary makes no sense.
It's just not good. There's no overlap in the skill set, right?
Imagine all our conversations on the podcast. Like, Nathan's on Mars.
Yeah.
We're not playing the same video game.
No.
Like, jungle's not an off role. It's like you're playing a different game. It's a different game.
So, let's cut the fat here. The
What
reality...
does he means mid, right?
He means mid.
Yeah.
So you should be getting mid majority of your games. The only reason you're not getting mid majority of your games is because you're probably putting jungle as your secondary role or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a video by Coach Mysterious on his YouTube that says how to reduce autofill, how to get your main role in solo queue. Find it, copy it, do it, and follow that. It's like a recipe, right? Like baking a cake. Do that. And then whatever that secondary role is, suck it up. You're only going to play it one in every, 9 games, one in every 10, if that.
You don't have to enjoy it.
And don't even just suck it up, suffer, and do your job, get carried, move on.
Yep.
Right? That should be it.
Pull a Coach Curtis and just pick Sivir bot lane and just play the game.
Or even better, if you want to play bot, play a mage bot and just wave clear and piss off the Charlies of the
piss
world.
off me, correct. Probably win as well.
Because people are going to get frustrated and do some shit. You're just going to sit there and wave clear. And if you on top of that, we also have a Ziggs bot guide in the Bot Lane Academy if you want to learn how to play Mage's bot as well. And that's really it. Don't overcomplicate it.
Correct. Agree.
It's like the same mindset of like 100% win rate. I've got to love everything. I've got to be so good at my secondary. There's pros and cons of things, guys.
You shouldn't hate it, but you can find a way. There's always a champion in that secondary role where you can like suffer and you can like not hate it. You can kind of be like, it's whatever.
Echo's not that champion jungle. You need to like win, because you're going to be very inactive early game.
Jungle's not the role.
No.
End of story.
Yeah, I think it's kind of outdated, off-rolling jungle. It used to be a thing. A lot of mid laners did used to off-roll
Back
jungle.
in the day. The roles evolved.
It's a lot more complex now. There's
Yeah, way more complex.
Things are going on. Jungles are better. It's harder to do. Off-roll AD carry is probably the easiest role to off-roll in the game, I would say.
Because jungle's a lot about patterns and seeing, like sequences play out and all that.
Mid and AD carry have so much overlap because it's just about positioning and fighting.
Yep.
And trading.
Yeah, I mean, I off-roll mid. I play Corki mid when I get...
Because you could just... And you could even... AD carry going to mid. They can just minimize lane for the most part and get to team fights and just position well. And you're going to struggle in mid game.
So I play my champion, Corki, which is like one of my main champions. I play that mid. I play the exact same way. I play bot lane, literally. Just like maybe a tad less aggressive because mages can usually poke you out more than the average bot lane. And that's it,
Yeah, you'll just scale, get to your key spikes and play team fights.
Yeah, do the exact same thing.
Exactly.
Okay, another champion pool question here. This one comes from...
Can we cut to the chase this time?
AA. I have a 55.68% win rate on mid and have been stuck in gold 4 for 6 months. Dear Charlie, Curtis and Nathan, you often say that we should keep our champ pool as small as possible and that we shouldn't roll swap. But I'm sorry to say that this advice is impossible to follow. As a mid laner, I actually get to play mid in fewer than 2 to 3 of my games. 2 out of 3 of my games. The matchmaker forces me to pick a priority position, and that's where I spend over 1/3 of my games. I refuse to learn jungle, so this usually means support. But sometimes it will change to ADC or even to top, and I have no choice but to comply. I have a 57.6% win rate on Xerath. Curtis played a lot of Xerath back in the day, but I've been stuck in gold 4 for 6 months. I have a 50% win rate on all other mid laners, so my overall win rate for mid lane is around 55.68%. I have a 46.47% combined win rate on all other roles which are not mid lane. How can I follow your advice to keep my champ pool and role pool small when it seems physically impossible to follow? What are your thoughts on this? Regards, a despondent Xerath enjoyer.
Kind of answered him the last question, I guess. Tim's video. You're probably queuing the wrong
thing.
That
doesn't exist.
He's just queuing the wrong thing.
Queuing the wrong thing. Exactly.
If I queue AD carry primary and I queue top secondary, I'm gonna get top a lot. Not probably still more AD carry than top though. I think there's a little bit of like exaggerating his sprinkling on the top there, but you have to just be intelligent. Just queue a popular role second. And then you won't get.
And I know this to be the case as well because we've done many boot camps. The players in mid get mid. I literally had 9 games with a gold player, and they got 1 autofill.
Yeah, I'll be better than that.
One.
The whole boot camp. I've never had an off roll. We've done 4 boot camps now, so I've done what is that, Nathan? Like 30, 40 games.
Yeah, but the reason that I'm just saying for mid lane specifically.
For mid,
exactly. So
the AD carry is pretty popular too.
So true.
So Curtis, you're saying this email just refused to...
Yeah, what Charlie said. They're not picking the right secondary role. Correct. Exactly right. You will get it, again, 1 in every 10, right? Basically, 1 in every 10, maybe. 1 in 9, 1 in 8, whatever. But it should not be that much.
Just a TLDR of the video, because you might not watch it, just find out on League of Graphs what the highest percentage picked position on your server is.
At your rank.
On your server, very specifically. And then queue that secondary. So you get you're going to get that the least. That's how it works.
That's how it works. Exactly.
And if that is your main, then pick the next one and make that your secondary.
And there's even other things you can do that Tim talks about in the video to make it even more guaranteed.
Yeah.
You can follow all those steps and you will get it, especially probably 98% of the time.
Even if you don't play it. Because what you can do is if you do happen to get it, just dodge that game, one. Then change your secondary to what you can actually play and then queue up. So you can really game the system. You can game the system. You can also end your queues early when it goes over the timer. If it goes over the threshold. Yeah, Tim has
so much good tech there. If you follow that, you'll get it all the time. End of story.
All right, last question is a funny one. Charles will love this one.
Okay.
And we sort of actually mentioned this a little bit. I think you did. The title of this email is Dealing with PYKE Players.
Holy shit.
This is from Chris. Hello, Nathan, Curtis, and Charlie, if he's there.
I'm usually off screen, apparently. So.
My question to the team is, how do you deal with PYKE? For context, I play immobile ADCs like Aphelios and Caitlyn around the ELO range of low master to D2. Typically, I like to win my lanes, but when I run into PYKE because of how threatening he is early, I frequently end up feeding in this matchup. Does winning here look more like neutralizing and going even, or even down in farm? interested to hear your unique perspectives.
That's just so general. It's very general. I mean, it depends on what your support's playing and what the enemy AD carry is playing. But yeah, PYKE has some pretty big strengths. PYKE is one of, if not the strongest level 1 champion in the game, in the bot lane.
He takes a hell of blades, right?
Even if he doesn't take Hell Blades, he can still fuck you up level 1. His base damage is stupidly high, right? He can just kill you level 1. So if you're playing in a mobile level 1 and your support isn't playing like a meat shield champion that can block the hook on purpose and stuff, then yeah, you probably have to concede push. I think that oftentimes the big thing I see with players playing against hook champions is it's not about your ability to dodge the hook. That's a complete like misnomer. It's like you actually just need to concede and just be comfortable losing lane. Just graciously lose. Like PYKE is pretty shitty champ.
You said that, obviously we don't like generalizations here, but my narrative with PYKE is as long as you neutralize that, or even if that champion's fed, he will lose the game.
PYKE's power graph looks like this. Literally just downhill. Like he spikes level 1 and then just gets worse.
You know what I view PYKE as he's like the Zoe of mid lane.
Yeah.
Because Zoe's the exact same, right? Zoe is one of the strongest champions in the entire game, early game, right?
Yep.
Has probably the strongest level 1, level 2, level 3.
Solo killing everyone.
Take ignite, solo kill people, yada yada yada. Yep. And then what happens though? Like if you can minimize and lose gracefully, just get shoved in a little bit. You're gonna go down a little bit of farm, leverage your TP advantage, chill. What's gonna happen is that Zoe's not going to be able to navigate the mid game very well. It's very hard. Now, yes, sure, there are high level Zoe players will, but for 99% of the player base, the Zoe is not going to know how to navigate the mid game. They're going to drop in farm. They're going to end up losing the lane in the late lane because their wave clear goes to shit. They can't kill you anymore. You use your range advantage. And team fighting as a Zoe is fucking hard.
Get caught on side lane.
Yeah. Just knowing how to balance farm and grouping is incredibly difficult. And yeah, that's the way you end. You just let them lose a lot of the time.
People are so upset. Like, okay, I'm literally visualizing the Aphelios standing there. The enemy is slow building the wave into them. The Aphelios is watching a minion die. Just don't walk up and hit it, mate. Don't. Let the minion die. That's my genuine advice. Watch the enemy zone you from the creep without losing your marbles and just win later. Just go down 20 creeps. It's fine. You can go down 20 CS as an AD carry. You have to sometimes because matchups blow a lot of the time.
I can attest to this. Praedith, when I first installed you as well, when I play bot, there's times where I'm playing a mage bot and I just win lane. And I'm up like 25 CS.
It does happen, yes.
And then he will just shit on me later on once he gets to his key spikes and shit on me in fights.
This is the Praedith podcast. We just like blazing Praedith, yeah.
I'm just saying that's exactly what, and what makes him good is that he knows when to give. He knows
accept reality.
He's very good at accepting reality. Exactly.
Because okay, this is what, when people ask these questions about how do I beat X champion, it's like, there's no secret sauce. You're a Diamond 1 master player from the email, right? You know, mate. Let's just call it what it is. You know what to do against PYKE. There's no like secret.
He even said it.
Maneuver.
Do I neutralize and go even or down in farm? He even said that here.
Yes.
He knows what to do.
He knows what to do. He's just looking for an out because you don't want to go through the painful experience of, like I said, literally watching them zone you from that one creep. But you have to do that. That's the only way to do it.
Beautiful. All right, that wraps up our episode today. Bootcamp tickets on sale.
A regular episode of the week. Regularly.
Oh, God. Now I can't. I genuinely can't pronounce that word.
This was a very arduous podcast that we host regularly.
If anyone puts that word in a mailbag email, I'm not reading it. I'm just not going to select you because it's my mailbag. We'll see you guys next week.